That was the spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance, Karabo. We now speak to MK Party spokesperson, Nhlamulo Ndhlela. Nhlamulo, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. You heard what Karabo said, a victory for the people of South Africa. Your reaction?
No, I think that comment, quite honestly, it's an insult to the people that voted for President Zuma, firstly, to be in Parliament, but most of them Mkhonto weSizwe to be in Parliament. The will of the people is what should be resonating in terms of the decisions that are taken by Parliament. Parliament draws its powers and privileges from the Constitution. As a member of Parliament, you are not in any way limited in terms of which committee you can preside in or participate in. In this case, what we're finding is the DA, a racist organization that should have actually been the forefront of actually impeaching the president, is now wanting to use what is irrelevant in this case, because Dr Hlophe is legible and in actual fact more qualified than anyone else to sit in that JSC to preside over interviews. Remember, when you preside over these interviews, you don't appoint the judges, and this is where they're missing it. It is the president who appoints. Now, for the DA to create an impression as though Dr Hlophe, on the basis of morality and not within law, and for courts in this case, to then come with a judgment based on morality, that in of itself is concerning, because what this means now is that we now have judicial sovereignty. That is why Mkhonto weSizwe, we are pushing that this country needs parliamentary sovereignty where the will of the people must resonate with the decisions that are taken in courts. Remember, judges are not lawmakers. We are the lawmakers in Parliament. Judges are just mere interpreters of the law. But what we're finding is that the judicial system is now overreaching and now wanting to change the laws in Parliament. So therefore, this to South Africans must be a clear demonstration that we need to have parliamentary sovereignty, because this constitutional, so-called constitutional framework, in the light of what is supposedly a democracy, which is not reflected in terms of the decisions that are taken in these courts and in Parliament, clearly is very concerning and should, in actual fact, we looked at it in that way.
Now, the DA in Nhlamulo says that its reason to, tackle this particular matter and take it to court is that, according to the party, and I quote, it undermines integrity, compromises the legitimacy of any process that, Dr Hlophe would have been involved in. And for them, they say that they wanted to make sure that this matter upholds the rule of law because, and I'm quoting Karabo, you cannot have a judge that has been impeached and disgraced, then going to such an important body like the JSC.
I mean, it is a disgrace that they, as the DA, would go into a coalition with a president that ought to be impeached off the back of a Phala scandal, having been found off the back of Section 89 of a report, that this man has got a case to be answered. And then they go into bed with that kind of a person. But they want to now question the morality of Dr Hlophe and the decision that was taken by Parliament. So it cannot be that we allow a racist organization that targets black professionals, to satisfy interests of white monopoly capital and neoliberal posture, to take precedence in terms of those decisions. And by virtue of this outcome, we are not going to take it lying down as Mkhonto weSizwe. We are going to take this further. We're going to take this right up to the highest court, to the Constitutional Court. We cannot allow the DA to run amok and do as they please, just to serve white racist interests. And sadly, you find a spokesperson who sadly is also a black person representing these same neoliberal white interests. So that's a disgrace.
Apart from paying, the costs, the court is saying that yourselves and Dr Hlophe must pay legal costs on a punitive scale, also for insults that it says the party would have made in the public domain. How is the MK Party processing that?
Well, firstly, they refer to an insult. This is an insult, as I said, to the Constitution. This is an insult to the independence of Parliament. This is an insult to the lawmakers and all honourable members that sit in that Parliament that are there to make decisions on behalf of, the electorate that elected them into Parliament. This is an insult to the people that died for this democracy. This is what this judgment is. Nothing more than that. When it comes to the punitive costs and whatever the case may be, again, very questionable. 3 unelected judges coming to that conclusion. That is why we're calling upon an audit into the lifestyle audit into all these judges, because some of these decisions that are being taken, quite honestly, are very questionable. Punitive cost on the basis of what? This is an issue that it was concluded by way of a vote in Parliament, as per the parliamentary rules, powers, and privileges drawn from the Constitution. Why should 3 unelected judges preside over a matter in the first place on the basis of morality when the law has taken its course inside of Parliament and lawmakers made that decision?
Nhlamulo, are you saying, and am I hearing you correctly, are you saying that the courts are not the platform to ventilate matters that take place in Parliament? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that lawmakers make the law.
Yeah.
Judges are just mere advocates that are supposed to interpret the law, not even implement the law. And this is what most South Africans are not seeing here. But what we're finding is that we've given the judicial system too much power. We no longer have sovereignty. At this point, we effectively have judicial sovereignty, because now the judges control our lives, when in actual fact, the laws that are made by lawmakers in Parliament. So we're finding now judges and the judicial system reversing laws that are being made by lawmakers.
So are you judging the independence of these 3 judges who made this ruling?
Yes, we're questioning that. We've been questioning the judicial system from day one.
And
that's
these 3
and that is part of the reason why, as Mkhonto we are calling, and we've written a letter that is going to be arriving at the minister tonight that states categorically that we are concerned about certain decisions that are taken, and also we want them to share with us and disclose every single judge's disclosure in the register, so we can actually make a determination, because some of these decisions are quite questionable. As you'd have seen also in the judicial system, ever since we have written a statement, we issued a statement that raised this. There was a judge in the East London that was also caught, involved in fraudulent activities. So the judicial system is not clean. These are individuals that are also open to influence. These are individuals that also vote. So we cannot just take a posture that says that judges are clean and so therefore the decisions cannot be influenced. No.
So is this the Justice Minister that you've written to?
There's a clear agenda here.
Is this the Justice Minister, just for clarity purposes, is this the Justice Minister that you've written to?
Yes.
All right. And have you received a response to this? And also, please answer this question directly. Are you questioning the independence of these 3 judges? I know that you've written on the other ones, these 3 judges.
We are questioning the independence of the judiciary in its entirety.
All right.
As you would have seen, even in the Chief Justice's office, there was corruption there, where the hawks pounced on 3 individuals. There's courts, recently the magistrates' courts, where 3 other individuals there were found to be involved in corrupt activities. This judicial system is rotten to the core. If we as members of Parliament and lawmakers can disclose publicly what our assets are, why is it that judges' disclosures are kept under lock and key? Why is that? So there are, just as we are, public representatives that are supposed to, in this case, uphold and interpret the law, then they should also be succumb to the same kind of scrutiny and judge.
All right, Nhlamulo, thank you so much for your time this evening. That's the National Spokesperson for the MK Party, Nhlamulo Ndhlela.